I'm going to welcome back to the stage for the third time at this conference, up here nearly as often as I am, Susanna Lawson, who's our headline sponsor and the CEO of OneFile. Susanna.
Thanks everybody. As Tony said, this is I think my third time on the stage. So I actually do want to speak about OneFile this time. I've been up here talking about all different aspects in the areas that we work. So OneFile Limited, we're a software as a service company. We're based up in Manchester. We've been going for 11 years now. And 69% of our business is in the apprenticeship market. So if I just can start the slides. So the video we've just seen is about delivering learning better together. What does that mean for OneFile? So we have over 600 customers at the moment from all different areas. So we have hundreds of training providers. We have about 100 FE colleges, we have universities, we have a third of the UK's police force, we have 19 NHS trusts. We also work with corporates, so we have people like Specsavers, Tony and Guy, Bright Horizons, one of the largest nursery chains. So we work in all aspects of apprenticeship market. With our customers, it's not just a transactional relationship with our customers. We really do want to work with our customers in a collaborative way. And one of the reasons why we wanted to sponsor this conference was I got introduced to Lindsay back in November. And I rang her up. And I don't know if you've ever spoken to Lindsay. I don't think she's in the room at the moment, but she can talk. And I can talk. And the first conversation I had with her, we were on the phone for an hour and a half talking about apprenticeships. And I came off and I spoke to my marketing team and said, I really want to do something with Lindsay's conference because I really believe in what she stands in. And then I met her in Euston to have a face-to-face meeting before this conference, and we were there for 6 hours talking. Okay, so with our customers then, we really want to work. So we have sharing best practice events where we take different sectors in hospitality, health and social care, childcare, engineering, and we get networks of our customers together to share best practice with each other. We don't see, there's enough business in the market, and a lot of our customers want to share the best practice with each other. They want to learn what others are doing. If somebody's got outstanding in Ofsted, how did they achieve that? And our customers are very keen to share that with each other, which is a fantastic situation to be in. We also recently in-house delivered a new standards workshop to our own team, so they all understood what the new standards were about. It went down really, really well, and we thought, well, what about our customers? Would they like to have it? Because some of our account managers were coming back saying that people had spent several £100s going on new standards workshops that were being run, and they didn't feel that we were learning very much practically. So we thought we'd offer it out, and we offered 150 delegate places. They sold out within 24 hours, and we were getting literally begging emails and tweets saying, please, can you put more places on? So we kept having to add and add and add places, and we've had to put on 500 places because the customers really want to come and hear what we've got to say and speak to our other customers about what they're doing. So we're supported or endorsed by over 20 AOs. And again, talking collaboratively, we have very close working relationships with well over a third of those. Some AOs just want to endorse us and say it's great for their centres to use us. Other AOs want to have a much more close working relationship with us. We offer all EQAs free online training of OneFile. So when they log in, they should understand the system, how to navigate the system and how to do their audits on the system. And that's a process that all the AOs, I think, really appreciate. Just something else I wanted to say was a team expertise. It was extremely important for me as the founder of OneFile, because when it was just myself and my partner doing OneFile, I was the one that went out and I spoke to all the colleges, I spoke to all the training providers, and because I was from that background, people said, you understand what it's like for us because you've done that job. I've been all the way from a learner doing a level 2 all the way up to a national contracts manager of 1,000 national apprenticeships. So I knew the difficulties and the logistics of doing it on paper and why OneFile would be a benefit to them. So it was really important to us that all of our account managers had your guys' experience. So they're all a minimum of old school D32, D33, A1. Some of them have got their D34, V1. So they've all got experience. They've all worked in the sector. So they do completely empathise with the issues that you guys are having. And in fact, our head of customer delivery, she's an EQA for City and Guilds as well. She's worked away, she started as an account manager and she's promoted through the organisation. So again, she's got all the experience and she's able to share that expertise with the customer delivery team from her point of view as well. Another thing that's really important to our customers is integration. We believe at OneFile that your data is your data. You're putting it into the system. You should be able to push and pull that to wherever you want. We appreciate there's some organisations out there that don't believe that. Once the data's in their system, they don't want you to be able to move it anywhere else. We work with several organisations, MIS organisations, functional skills organisations. We have integrations or single sign-on with Facebook, with Moodle. We want to make our customers' lives easier. So we've got open APIs so that the information can be pushed and pulled into different products and different services. Because we talked about bureaucracy yesterday. We want to cut down your bureaucracy and we want to make the system as easy to use for you guys as possible. Okay, so again, I was told that I could have 20 minutes here, but I didn't want to stand up here and talk about OneFile for 20 minutes. So I've invited another customer, Paul McGrail. Paul's been using OneFile for 10 years now. He was one of our very early adopters of e-portfolios. And the fact that Paul comes from a land-based college, Mysco College up in Preston, traditionally, people might say that land-based, we used to get this all the time. Oh, our learners aren't in front of computers. How are they going to use an e-portfolio? Paul is a shining example of land-based, out in fields, out in golf courses, out on racetracks. They're not sat in front of a computer, and yet they've embraced e-portfolios. And Paul's going to share his experience of being on Trailblazer groups and the future of the new standard. Thank you.
No pressure to get everybody to lunch in 1 minute. Okay, I'm responsible for quality at the moment, which is quite interesting. 2 weeks' time, I go back to my roots, and I also take on apprenticeship directorship as well as quality. Going off what I've heard the past 2 days, I think I could have negotiated a better deal, to be honest. Quality is one of those jobs where you don't set out to work, you just end up in quality. Another interesting fact that so never this last couple of days is acronyms, YTS as well. I started off as a YTS back in, giving away my age now, 1984. £25 a week, £15 a week of that went to my parents. That's my first reality check of working in the real world. So I'm just going to go through whistle-top tour really of the work we've done with the new standards and the work on the working group. I'd like to put images up. We've had lots of challenges, but I'd like to think by working together and having that collaboration with partners that we've actually bridged over a lot of the gaps. Mysco College, Susanna's mentioned a bit about Mysco College, just to put it more in the frame. We're a land-based and sport college. We date back to the 19th century. We deliver all weird and wonderful qualifications such as equine, motorsports, performance motorsports. We have a Formula Ford team, golf, cricket, basketball, etc. We're also a residential college. We have over 700 beds as well, so that works out quite nice for our provision. We run from entry level to MSc, so we're a very inclusive campus as well. In terms of work base, we have 16 schemes, 12 of those are land-based. We're a national provider, things like sports turf, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. We deliver that on a national basis across the country. And I'd like to think we're quite a college full of diversity. Certainly last week we had our officer inspection. We've been waiting 1,000 days for that one, which is quite interesting. One of the results from that was it was an environment where diversity is celebrated. That was a quote from the officer inspector. So, very good campus to work at. In terms of aims objectives, just want to talk a bit about the development of the technical working group, some challenges, just to keep everybody in the room. When I get to real benefits, I've got some links that we're using for endpoint assessment that people can have access to and look at what we're doing to help learners with the endpoint assessment, and just a bit about the next steps as well. From the beginning, September 2014, I've highlighted that in red because it's taken so long to get the standard up and running. It probably dates back pre-September 2014, to be honest. And that's despite having an employer organisation already in situ. We've worked with an employer-facing organisation for probably the past 17, 18 years, so we already had that group in place, already established. We worked on qualifications, we worked on frameworks. But yet, the distance it's taken so long. So when I get to challenges, I'll talk about that as well. What did we do? We agreed a nominal level. quite under pressure from BIS really to start off at level 3, which we sort of fought against really because we wanted that craft level. A lot of our learners are very practical based, and we wanted the craft level to move to supervisory management, to move to management. So we won that in the end. Another thing that was quite important was protecting the learner journey as well. We wanted something for the learner to do and to record against during that journey. It could be 18-month period. And just going on back of what was discussed yesterday around CVs, our learners actually use the learner journey and the e-portfolio as their CV. The amount of learners that actually download their disc and take it to an employer and say, actually, this is me actually carrying out that task, that happens quite a lot. So we do promote that to our learners. We designed the endpoint assessment, which is a challenge. Basically, in a nutshell, there are a possible 21 tasks the learner could be tested on in one day. It's a full day endpoint assessment. There's a synoptic online paper that's delivered before, and then there's a trainee statement to reflect on the journey they've been on. So it's quite a complex endpoint assessment. Some of our wants and needs, we wanted to continue to have the ability to deliver 100% in the workplace. Apart from block release, I'd say 98% of our learners never set foot on campus. We go to them, and that's what the employers want. We wanted to continue to have that utilisation of technology-enhanced learning. So a lot of my real benefits I'll talk about later around technology-enhanced learning because that's really important for the college. Some of the challenges, I suppose the first statement, the concept is sound, but the approach can be questionable. I totally agree with that, skills, knowledge and behaviours. Totally agree with the old concept of it. It's just the approach needed time looking at, needed proper project management without a shadow of a doubt. It's gone on far too long. And one of the other things, a lot of the trailblazers that we're not involved with don't have coaches at the table. Now, I know it's supposed to be employer-led, but I'm a firm believer in change should happen with people and not to people. So I think without the 2 coaches at the table for this particular trailblazer, the outcome would have been different. They didn't discuss about the Ofsted, performance results. They're all the things that matter to colleges that we get inspected on. Endpoint assessment. Was a challenge, choosing the right endpoint assessment. The introduction of pass merit distinction, and we did have bits of this in our framework, but that's a real change for a lot of our staff. It's no longer pass or fail. You know, I think that's really a good thing because I suppose a lot of people in this room would have got to a situation where you've got 2 learners in a workplace, one learner puts a lot of effort into it, the other learner doesn't, but they come out with the same outcome. So I think the pass merit distinction is actually a wonderful thing to move forward with. But again, it's a challenge for our delivery teams because it's a new concept. We work with sitting guilds in terms of an awarding body to come up with a qualification that sort of fills the learner journey. Again, we wanted lots of training for them on writers. So when you come to pass merit distinction, you've got to differentiate between what is a pass and what is a distinction. Again, with the knowledge paper, because we wanted online exams, anytime, any place, we had to come up with 4 different versions. Again, we needed training for writers on that as well. It takes a lot of work to come up with a credible wrong answer to still challenge the learners. The trainee statement, capturing that journey, again, OneFile been brilliant to sort of work with us on that workflow to make sure that's it built into the portfolio. Right, I thought I'd come up with an image of what I think employers, certainly some of our employers look at some of the challenges. I'd say 98% of our employers, and we deal with about 1,500 employers where we deliver training solutions to, 98% of those are SMEs, and it's a real difficulty trying to explain to them the different types of funding, what it's all about. And the difficulty of having frameworks and standards running in parallel, that was just discussed before as well. We're at a situation now where we've worked so long on the standards, we've got an handful of learners on it, but a lot of the employers have just held back because they want to come in, wait for the 90-10 split to come in, so it's gone against us slightly. So it's difficulty to explain all that information to employers. It's a real challenge out there, so a lot more work needed for SMEs without a shadow of a doubt. More for less, we've all heard this before. Whilst maintaining quality, quality is really important to me. It's part of my job. So we want to make sure we've got a real quality product at the end of it. We've got heavy reliance on making sure we've got technology in there as well, because that helps us with our sort of more for less policy. Capturing that ongoing assessment, preparing the learner for the practical end assessments and mocks does require more input as well, we've found. So we've had to embrace technology to get the learners up to speed as well. So how do we achieve all these things in the same length of time? This is one of the real benefits, I think. I've been quite clever in the sense that I've working on the Trailblazer technical group alongside a blend project, which is a European Erasmus Plus project, and a UFI project, which is University for Industry. And we've worked on using instructional interactive videos to support the endpoint assessment, and that's using H5P technology. So there's a nice link here. You can all link onto this. It takes you to a space where you can actually look at all the videos that we've produced. And these are instructional videos. I suppose everybody in this room at some point has probably used a YouTube video to do something. We've taken the same concept, only we've put interactions into it, we've put checks on learning. So there's an example of Alex here, who's one of our advanced teaching practitioners. So one of the endpoint assessment tests is to identify trees indigenous to a golf course. So he'll take you through the different types and different ways of identifying the Latin names, where it should grow, where it shouldn't grow, because that'll be a test that a learner will get at the end, potentially. So he takes you through all of that, and then every now and then the interactions stop and there's a check on learning. We found feedback from learners is that really prepares the learners. They're only small videos, they're about 6 minutes. But that learner before the endpoint assessment could be tested on any one of 21 tasks that following day, and it's a full day. So what we're saying to learners is the night before, a couple of days before, look at your interactive videos, go through them. You've got time to do that, and it'll sort of get you up to speed with some of the things you might be challenged on. A lot of our VLEs historically have focused too much on knowledge and not about how to prepare a learner for a practical end assessment. So that works really well. Another thing, obviously, OneFile are launching their VLE. I lost a few heartbeats when that happened because we were planning on rolling out Canvas into apprenticeship and skills, but actually this works better for us. So we're getting all our learners to access all the resources on one platform, which is brilliant. So again, that's in its sort of beta system, but that's really going to benefit our learners in terms of monitoring progress against teaching and learning activities. Something that's also come out of it, this is brand spanking new. This is, there's one thing talking about technology, but there's another thing getting your staff up to speed with technology. And we used to have a system called Bronze, Silver, Gold, and many colleges still have that to measure the quality of technology. We've actually come up with Spirals. Spirals is about training staff members how they go from just maintaining, so using basic technology, right up to the revolutionise, where they're using technology to transform and rewrite pedagogy and making that, taking learners beyond their expectations. This is something that we're launching to train staff, so how to get from maintain to substitute and so on, so on. So the CPD things that go in between these things. So that's something, another thing that's come out of the working group and sort of the work we've been doing. Some of our next steps, we're going to enhance formative assessment training for staff because it is new. We're no longer got that formal IV, the formal assessment, the EV, that's all out the window. It's purely focused on teaching and learning. So again, we've got to train staff more around the formative assessment methods. We're starting work next week on the level 3 and the level 5. I'm going to further enhance obviously the VLE, continue to enhance the support for technology enhanced learning and out of classroom delivery, implement the spirals, and then something that we'll probably come into is value added. We have that in FE, but I think with the graded system coming in, we'll be using that as a measure to see how well our trainers and employers actually getting their learners up to some good grades, some good progression. That's me done. Okay.